the thing that is one of the most important things in your scanner is the inner voice, the inner voice, the inner voice, the inner voice. Why does he keep stressing that? Because it's a known fact that emotions can actually, over time or even short term, cause frequencies in the body where peptides are released, where different organs, glands, and systems get affected. And if that keeps up long term, or if it even is severe short term, it can result in disease. Think again what the word disease, how is that structured? It's dis-ease. So if you have dis-ease long enough in an organ, gland, or system, it can manifest as disease. So your inner voice is just absolutely so important and so valuable. It actually helps the brain. You have the left side of the brain, the right side of the brain, you have the primal brain, you have the frontal cortex that has the ability to focus and concentrate on different things. All of those parts and many others have to work together. And the inner voice just helps the brain to work better. When the brain works better, the body works better. When the emotions are more balanced, the body is more balanced. It emphasizes that the inner voice is one of the most important parts of your scanner. Now, think of the body parts that they have noticed get labeled with certain emotions. So you have the liver that typically is associated with anger. You have the gallbladder that has been known to be associated with resentment. You have the heart that at times has been affected by rage. We all know stories of somebody that has a history of rage problems and then drops dead of a heart attack. You have the bladder that has been associated with paralyzed will. Even from a scriptural standpoint, if you're a Bible reader, you have in the Bible that the calm heart is the life of the organism. There's also another scripture that talks about jealousy being rottenness to the bone. So if you're one that goes from a God creation standpoint, you would think that he knows what he's talking about when he says that jealousy is rottenness to the bones. There's actually an effect on the bones from a long-term condition of being jealous. So all of these things point to that it's very, very important to use your inner voice and to realize that there is a correlation between what emotions people are feeling and what happens in their body. So let's go back to the original question. And we can see that it can go both ways. Why? Okay, go back to Einstein. Einstein said that you have energy and you have to connect it with particles. You have particles, you have to connect it with energy. It goes both ways. So how does that work with emotions and the inner voice? Well, if there's the frequency of emotion, eventually it will affect the particles. Okay, that's where you see something long-term, where a person is having issues health-wise because of a long-term standing emotion. But how does it go the other way? Well, what happens if somebody hears that a loved one has died? That's immediate. That isn't something that's long-term. That hits them like a runaway freight train. Okay, the adrenaline goes up. There's fear, there's panic, there's grief, there's sadness, there's confusion. Now, is that not going to affect the particles? So that's where you can have it where, yes, the emotion can make it where there eventually is what shows up in the scanner, but there again, you can have what shows up in the scanner be an immediate thing that's going to have a big impact on the body right away. Okay, so it can go both ways. What if somebody finds out that they have cancer? Okay, what is that going to do to the body? Find out they have cancer, that is not something that is going to wait long term to have an effect on the body. Right away, what's probably one of the first 2 or 3 emotions? Fear, anger, disbelief, confusion, all of these things. And what's going to happen when the brain, because of that, floods the body with the neuropeptides because of those emotions? It's going to have an immediate effect on the body. But here again, that's where the value of the inner voice comes in, to start calming those things down and not have it add to the problem. Your inner voice is incredibly, incredibly um, powerful.